Right, guys, I am going to start just in case our early visitors are here for my Facebook Live. This is Angel Starks Online with Pat Chavis, which is Patrick Chavis to be official. Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing fine. So you guys, I want to let a couple people come on just to make sure our volume is up. So I'll let you guys get notified by Facebook and the algorithms, and they'll let you know we're here. I got one person on there. If you could just give me some hearts and let me know, can you hear me? If you can hear me, send some hearts, please. I'm gonna go ahead with the interview. You guys can always watch it at your leisure later. It's imperative information that you do not want to miss. So I think I invited you. Go on your phone and accept the request, Pat.
Oh.
Yes, and that way you can even tell me if you can hear, because these are mics that we are trying out for a very first time from Amazon. I'm going to link everything to you in case you need some little lava mics that you can just pop into your phone really quick, get some good professional sound. I do not see any hearts, so not sure. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. Hit it and let's see if you can hear me talking. Can you hear me talking? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let me put some hearts.
Okay, so we have some hearts. All right, so guys, thank you so much for joining the Facebook Live. I am Angel Starks right here. You're online with Angel Starks on Facebook. We are with Attorney Pat Chavis. Welcome, Pat.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I wanted to bring on Patrick so that he could talk to you guys about the Lawrence Eviction Clinic. It's a sealing eviction clinic that is happening this Friday, which is January the 17th. And I just want to say a piece really quick before he starts. Tag a friend, share. If you know of anybody, just think about people that have went through hardships during the whole, ever since 2019, okay? Anybody, anything could have happened. Some of the is nothing to be embarrassed about. It could happen to anybody. Hardworking people face eviction. It is a hard time right now for us. Everything is elevated. Everything is so expensive, and it could happen to you. And if it did, Pat is going to talk to you about how you can have that sealed so that your quality of life, when it comes to moving from place to place, you will not have to worry about the eviction being on your record and being denied, spending all that money that it costs to try to get approved to be denied because of something. It could have been a health issue. It could be a divorce. You could have been sick. It could just be you just were hardworking and fell short on cash. So whatever it is, if you have eviction, if you got filed on, but you paid it in time and it got dismissed, guess what? It's still on your record. And I know that. So Pat, introduce yourself and let's talk about the eviction clinic that's going on in Lawrence.
All right, I'm Pat Chavis IV. I'm an attorney here in town. I work with the Lawrence and the Citywide Eviction Diversion Initiative. And what we do is we work out of the small claims courts, 8 of the 9 townships. And we help people with trying to find rental assistance, trying to find assistance with moving, finding affordable housing, related wraparound services. And then I work with a team that does facilitation, which is like mediation between landlords and tenants,
okay.
Trying to get agreements on a lot of these issues. So agreements to catch up, pay and stay, or agreements to have time to move if necessary.
So how important is it to, if you find yourself in a situation where you have an eviction or you've been filed on in any way, to have the support of some of the individuals that are going to be at the clinic versus you on your own by yourself?
Yeah, so the services that are offered in court are important. So the first thing I tell people is to show up. Mm-hmm. You've got to be there to get the services. So not only will you get services of facilitation, trying to help you reach agreements, case management services, but for tenants, there's actually a group of lawyers. They man each one of the courtrooms and they man the courtroom downtown. The legal services organizations provide free legal service and advice to people that have evictions pending. And that's important because you may have some issues that need to be raised or some issues that need to be explained. And it's not based on income. It's not based on anything other than you have an eviction file. And so all of these services are grant funded. They're in the court. They're not a part of the court. So it's separate from what the court normally does, but these are available. And if you have a situation in a township, any of the townships that we work with, and it's all of them except for Perry, then you can actually go in and discuss the case with a lawyer anytime that they have an eviction calendar, even before your court date. If you have some questions, you can go in and get these services before you even have to show up for court, any of the services.
Okay, so that's good information to know. Don't forget, you guys, if you're tuned in right now, go ahead and share it with Angel Starks Online and Attorney Pat Chavis. We are talking about this Friday. There is going to be a Lawrence Eviction Sealing Clinic that's going on. It's going to be free for you. The main thing is to show up. There's going to be multiple services there for you. You just want to be in the room. You just want to be able to be in the room to see what services could benefit you. So, Pat, what about how hard is it, do you think? How likely is it for you to be able to get another place to live for you, your kids, your family, once you have an eviction on your record?
So the more evictions you may have, the harder it's going to be. It's like credit for housing. So if you have evictions, they're presuming you're not paying well. It could be other issues, but the assumption is going to be lack of payment, and so you become kind of like a credit risk to landlords. And is all of us know, if we've looked at the housing and the rental market, prices are going up. It's hard to find places. There's the needs out there is greater than the supply of housing. So they have their choice of people a lot of times. And so they don't have to take people that have problems, because other people will come and take those spaces. And so the Indiana legislature decided that they should do something about that evictions shouldn't continue to haunt you the rest of your life.
Yes.
And it's similar to like the expungement process. So if you had a criminal record, you might qualify to expunge some of it, so you don't have to, people can't find it. It's the same thing with the evictions. And the interesting thing is, a lot of time people, they make two mistakes. First of all, landlords file often on tenants on a regular basis just to collect their money. And then, lawyers charge a fee. So I've seen people that are still living in the same place, but have 4 evictions that were filed because they got behind, they paid, it got dismissed. Those are 4 evictions on your case, even though it was really one circumstance. So you need to deal with all of those. And when they get dismissed, they're eligible to be sealed, by the way. And the other thing people don't understand is, a case gets filed, it gets dismissed, it's resolved. You think it didn't come back and bite you, but it's still in the system. So when they are going on My Case, or they have software that kind of sweeps through the My Case system, they're pulling up. Imagine that person that got filed on 4 times, but it was the same landlord. They got caught up. So it really wasn't 4 evictions from their perspective,
Right.
but you have all that up there, and you figure, well, it's not going to bite me because I took care of it. It's dismissed, right. But it's still there. So, and those definitely qualify to be sealed. You have to have the case resolved in one way or another, and that there's no judgment owed on it, or there's not been collection for over a period of 180 days.
Okay, so I hope you have your pen and your paper out. That was a lot of information for you to take in. And we have a question here. I see Faith is asking, saying that this is good information. What is the location?
All right, so this one's in Lawrence. We have clinics around the city. It's going to be I had to jot it down. It's the Metropolitan School District Lawrence Education and Community Center, 6501 Sunnyside Road, 6501 Sunnyside. Now, there will be walk-ins for the clinic, but there's also an opportunity to get an appointment. And so if you go on, Indiana Legal Services is our co-partner. So Indiana Legal Services of Indiana, if you go on the website, it's on there. But it's also posted on your website, Angel.
Yes.
There's information on the clinic. There's an ability to link on it, sign up. The sheets have QR codes. So I suggest people get an appointment because it'll be easier to get in and out. The walk-ins will have to wait as fill-in. Yeah. But if you're in the room, it's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Friday. If you're there, we'll see you. But doors will lock at a certain point in time, and then the most we can do is give out information. And can I add one thing?
Absolutely.
During this clinic, we are also, if you have an eviction potentially that can be sealed, we're also helping people with filing for garnishment reduction. And here's, I'll give you an example scenario. So you had a medical bill, you had a credit card, they went to court. A lot of times they got a default judgment. You found out about it because your wages are being garnished. We have found that one of the extremely high incidents of cases where people can't pay rent because of the garnishment, not because of their income.
Yes.
And so they're taking too much out of your check. So we're going to help file petitions to reduce garnishment orders and set hearings and prep people, give them information on how to present that case before the court. And so because we relate it to housing, we make it a part of the program. And what we're trying to do is save people's housing. And people will be surprised how easy it is to get these reductions. And a lot of times the other side will agree to them because, they'll still be able to collect. They're collecting interest. All judgments have 8% interest on them. But to get those garnishments reduced is a major benefit to help you keep your housing. So that's, and we e-file everything. So you don't have to take it into court. When you leave there, your documents are filed. So we file them electronically.
Okay, so that's good information once again. Faith, I appreciate the support. You're putting out a lot of information, sharing, tagging people. That's what you want to do. The main thing, and I deal with parents with PSPs that are have their children are misplaced. They want to get their children back in the home. The main thing that I like to preach to them is keep what you have. Try to maintain the home that you have. You don't want to lose your home. Going out, getting approved, paying for movers, doing all of that, paying for application fees is much, much more expensive, much more stress. So if you are in a situation like that, or you're getting close to getting ready to move, you've been in a situation where these things that we're speaking about, you resonate with that, or you know someone, you want to share that because you want to maintain and keep the structure of the home and stability that you already have versus going out. And then again, we spoke about assistance with maybe you live somewhere and it's just too expensive for you. There's resources to help you downgrade and get into a community where you can, better afford that, correct?
Yeah. And the goal is to make it the least disruptive process possible. Because here's a big concern of ours is school-age children. And so they're in the middle of their semesters. And for them to relocate, the stress of housing affects everybody, including your children. But what really also affects the children is their ability to maintain their education. So the goal is to keep them in the same school if at all possible.
For sure.
So can we help you find a place that will, you'll be able to qualify for, they can stay in the same school district. If you do have to move further, there's resources out there. There's a program called McKinney-Vento. All the schools have it. So there's certain criteria where if you have to move, and say you have to move in with somebody temporarily, or you move into an Airbnb or a hotel, that's considered under McKinney-Vento to be homelessness and qualifies for money, even though you have a home. So, and then they have to provide transportation while you're going through that. So if kids do have to move out of the district, the schools are obligated to provide some transportation benefits if parents can't take them out to school. But I didn't want to dive into that. But, a lot of the services we offer, if you contact the programs, and there will be representatives of the case management side at the Sealing Clinic, but you can also go to any of the small claims courts. They all have offices there. And they're there at least 4 days out of the week. They're called navigators. So you just say EDI, eviction diversion, or just say navigator. And then they'll get you to the people and they'll start working with you.
Okay, you guys, you're tuned in right now to Angel Starks Online, interviewing and putting out a public service announcement with Attorney Pat Chavis, talking about the Lawrence Eviction Sealing Clinic that's happening this Friday on the 17th in Lawrence from 11 to 2 p.m. I have put the link on my website. I am Angel Starks. The link to make an appointment is also on my next post right after this. It's also on your page. And then what's the website too?
For legal services, I did not, hold on, I think I have it here.
So he's gonna pull up the website. I'm gonna put it in the comments here. I'm gonna add it at the very top of the link. The main thing is that if you know of anyone, or your own self, let me break this down because he was talking in attorney terms. Let's say you live where you live and your rent has to be paid on the 4th. If you don't pay your rent on the 4th, by the 6th, they're going to file eviction for you. But you go ahead and you pay it before you get a court date and they say it's dismissed. You do that 5 times. He was telling you that you have 5 filings on your credit, rental history or whatever you want to call it. That's what he was saying, JJ. So, to break that down to you. So you paid it before you had to go to court, but it's still there. So when you go to move, that's going to really take you around, down a few notches when it comes to where you can live. And so you may have to live in a community that you don't particularly want to live in because that's who accepted you. So it's very important. So you guys want to come out, you want to share, and maybe you don't even know. You don't even know that you got filed on, you know what I'm saying? So you just want to come out to the clinic and get the information. What's the website?
All right, it's www.indianalegalservices.org and then /event/S as in Sam, E as in elephant, /. Or you can just do indianalegalservices.org. They have all the information. Just look for their events section and they'll have the sealing clinic on there. They also have the past clinics on there. So
okay, the past ones as well.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else that we need to put out that you think is imperative for people? Because we're going to end this video, but it's going to be up for you with all the links that you need so you can make you an appointment. It's definitely recommended to make an appointment so you can kind of get in and get out without waiting. But is there anything else you think we need to add?
Yeah, just spread the word around, not only about the clinic, but about the eviction diversion services that are going on around the city.
Okay.
They're not in Superior Court yet. The city has navigators in there. They do more. They do a good job. They refer people out to services. Our program case manages. So, you stay with your navigator through the whole process.
Okay.
There's some follow-up. They'll assist you with trying to locate resources. Resources are scarce right now for rental assistance, but it's like a puzzle. It's easy to help put together. A lot of times people can come up with something on their own.
Yes.
They can tap into family and friends, and so what we try to do is help put together some resources to move people forward. But it's important, we're trying to set people up for success too, not just clear up a balance, but we don't want you to go through the cycle again.
That makes sense.
So we have to come up with a plan to say, even if you're caught up, how do you move forward?
Yes.
And if the move forward, the move forward might have to be different than you think. We may have to focus on moving out without an eviction on your record. Because the other thing is, even if it's a pending eviction, and you've never had one before, that's going to affect you. And the analogy back to the criminal side I give is, if you're applying for a job and they do a criminal background check, and you have a pending case, it doesn't matter whether you did it, didn't do it. The fact is, they don't know, it's open. They're going to put that application, they're going to throw it away. Yeah. They're going to deal with people that don't have the issue. And even if you end up winning it, it gets dismissed. But while it's there and you can see it, it's going to adversely affect you. So, and the last thing I want to say is the services are offered. You don't have to have an eviction on file. We're pushing this with landlords too.
Okay.
If you will just let us know that people are getting in trouble, it's easier to start helping earlier. And less resources tend to be required because, by the time they file, you could be 2 months, 3 months, or by the time it goes to court. We want to catch it when you're 10 days behind to see if there's any help we can give you or start working on a plan for you to maybe move. Because the other thing is, landlords, a lot of times you work with a program, they'll let you get out of your lease early if you need to, so a lease break without a problem because, we don't want it to end up in an eviction process. So, get as much information as possible. All of the small claims courts, except for Perry, have navigators on site. They're putting together a main line now because the the program's growth is new.
Okay.
It started out in Lawrence with us.
Yes.
So there'll be a main number. Right now it's not set up. So I'd say check with the court, go by the court during business hours and ask for that navigator and get more information about the program.
Okay. So you guys, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate you for tapping in. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Faith. I can't see the rest of the names. This is a free service, right? It's free to make an appointment. It's free to, if you qualify and everything is free, right?
It is free, and there's no income qualifications. It's not a program you have to, you can only make a certain amount.
Okay.
It's a program to prevent homelessness and to prevent housing insecurity and all of the health and other effects that happen when you're afraid about losing your house.
For sure. And so, hey, Alexis, so after the clinic and a person is just, they're at work, I'm already going through this situation, I can't take off work to come to this. Is there resources afterwards? It's just one day?
No, so what you can do is reach out to Indiana Legal Services, the other legal services organizations like Neighborhood Christian Legal, Indiana, the ILAC, and I'm drawing a blank on what their acronym means. You can reach out to them, and then all the small claims courts have forms in their office for sealing your case. So you can go in, there's minimal instruction sheets, it's, if you can get to a clinic or a lawyer, they can explain the whole process. But, if you look on the Legal Services website, there's some good information too. But you can actually go into a court, get their form, and then file the case yourself. It's a $5 redocket fee for each case. When you go to the clinic, though, they waive that. So we've established it so people can save that $5 because if you have 15 cases, it starts to add up.
For sure.
And, the record is 22 cases, by the way.
22
One person with
eviction
22 cases. Yeah. So, and that's rare, but most of the time we see
That's a lot.
2 to 5 cases, and it doesn't matter how far back it is. So some cases we're sealing from the 90s.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
it doesn't drop off in 7 years?
No.
What?
No, this is not like the credit bureau. So all these cases are on file no matter how far back you went. So if it's in the system, it can be, we can help you file that sealing.
Okay.
And, but yeah, there's no limit.
Faith is wanting to know, do they have to live in Lawrence?
No. We file statewide, not just citywide. Because of the e-filing system, any court, if you moved down from South Bend and had a case there and you're here now, will e-file it in South Bend for you. So
Gotcha.
Anywhere in the state of Indiana. So
spread the word. Hey, Ming Lee. And I want to say it like this. I'm going to leave you with this one. Think about when you go to like you just said, you can save the fee. It's $5, but if you have 3, 4, 15, 22, it adds up. So think about when you go to a job fair, how easy access it is to be in the room. You may be speaking to one employer that can just connect you to the person right next to them versus going in, there's one receptionist that is just, she only knows so much stuff. You're in the room with everybody to be able to get all the resources that you're needing. So if you really have PTO time or you got a lunch break or whatever, really make it a point to come to the Lawrence Eviction Clinic because it can be life-changing for you. If you've ever been through it before and you get rejected, and you don't even know why, it's probably because you've been filed on and maybe you didn't go to court and get evicted, but it's there. So make it a point. We want you to share this video. We've already put out all the information. I'm going to add the time, the location, the link for you to make an appointment so that they know you're coming. And do they need to bring anything? Hey, Chantel, do they need to bring any documents?
No. If you know your case numbers, you can have those pre-jotted down, but we're going to look everything up.
Okay.
Even if you bring them, we're going to double check them.
Okay.
And then we're going to run we run it by name, we run it by cause number. So we're going to try to find everyone. We don't need the paperwork because we have access to it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I like that. Okay, sure. All right, guys. So the phone's all the way over there. I'm over here. I can't scroll up, but I appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. And in closing, we just want to thank you for your support and make sure that you come out, share, share, share. I'm Angel Starks. You're online with Angel Starks and with Attorney Pat Chavis. We thank you guys and have a great night. See ya.
Yeah, thank you.